What's up, guys? Hey, I read today's opening script and I thought, what the heck? But then I don't got a voice. We're going to give it a shot this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith, Johnny, and all my friends. See you guys in a sec.
Welcome to Mornings in the Lab, where excuse
when something negative comes up.
building muscle and improving blood flow.
Nobody is expecting, John.
If the lady's saying that, you're doing.
Be entertained by funds over here.
How have I slept? Has my sleep been good? Is that it?
Today, we were supposed to be talking about the power of saying no. But Uncle Keith hasn't no voice today. Good morning, Holroyd. Good morning, nation. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. I'm your host, and Keith Bilous, always showing up with voice or with no voice. I got my buddy Jon Andersen hanging out with me this morning. He's going to be carrying a lot of the load, as you guys can tell. Marty's off today again. He'll be back rocking and rolling with us tomorrow. We got producer Jimmy on the buttons. And of course, we got Melissa behind the scenes taking care of all the content to make sure we're moving in the right direction. Guys, we got a few things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 5-second rule. Mel Robbins' foolproof 5-second rule to finally crush your procrastination. And guys, I'm going through something. In my head, and I'm looking forward to putting it on the table. I know Johnny was going through something a couple weeks ago, and I think Uncle Keith has got it going through his head here today. So we're going to talk about it. Big changes, life, big changes on the Positive Morning Show to get your day started. Mornings in the Live with Keith and friends. And yes, Holroyd, I was yelling all weekend. I lost my voice, and the boys ended the tournament on the losing end of the equation. A lot of big things happened this weekend. Alexander Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's goal. So officially, I wake up today feeling quite old. My son's done hockey on a journey that I started since he was 5 years old. He wakes up today, he's 18. His next version of his hockey career continues, but the amateur career is over. Ovechkin breaks Gretzky's career, and I wake up this weekend looking around me, wondering where the hell my life has gone. Jimmy, let's bring in Jon Andersen and have the chat rolling here. As Johnny can tell, Uncle Keith doesn't have much of a voice left. What's going on, brother?
I would just like to replace a couple words with one of that last statement. You said I'm feeling old, and you listed off their stuff about your son. I would say I feel accomplished.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to be honest with you, man. I was looking forward to our chat this morning because I need some mental reframing. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been having some struggles in the last 24 hours. I've been having some.
Well, it's just this perfect timing because you're just talking to a guy who's climbing out of one of those himself. So
I know. I was going into it over the weekend, and I thought to myself, all right, I have the right guy to be in my corner. Because I'm going through it right now. You went through a big loss a couple weeks ago, and I feel like I'm going through a loss myself. Just so just to wrap it up, Carter had his hockey tournament. They ended yesterday with a loss, which means that this chapter of his career is done, finito.
You said amateur career is over, right?
Yeah.
What is the next step?
So if he chooses to play junior, which I expect he'll go to play junior hockey. But more importantly, Johnny, I think you can relate to this.
But that's considered pro.
No, it's still amateur. It's just the next level of amateur for me.
I got you. Okay,
for me, it's this. For me, it's as much this. You know, the days of so this chapter of his career started when he was 5. It ended yesterday. So it's like the next book, right? It's like when you take a book and you get to the last book and there's no more pages. Like this one's done. Now, there's another book on the shelf over there you're going to pick up, but it's got a whole bunch of new pages in it. It's got a whole bunch of new journeys, a whole bunch of new fucking ways to go. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, I only laugh because when I finish a book, I'm like, fucking A, I can't believe I finished it. This is beautiful. But, brother, it's coming back out of, as I get far enough away from what I was going through.
Yeah.
I think the biggest lesson, of course, a lot of great things happened to me individually, detailed wise. But when I look back, I think when I look at it from like a drone shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I realize that I think sometimes, you know, we just, it's almost like often we mistake fear for excitement.
Yes.
And so it's like these emotions are so fucking close together.
They are.
And especially if they're tied to something that we don't confuse, our brain fucking jumps to the wrong side of the fucking fence and we're stuck there going, what the fuck happened? How did I get over here? When it was largely a huge confusion, or I should say misunderstanding of an emotion that was not intended to be negative.
Yes. Good morning, good time. Good morning, Amy Reinhardt. I see you there in the comments. And good morning, of course, Adam Holroyd. You got Keith and Johnny here today, just discussing the emotions of life. And I think for me, Johnny, it's wrapping my head around all of it. Right. And I'll tell you something, when I finished my hockey career at 16 and I hang up the skates, my dad went through a period. I remember my dad going through a period and I was like, yeah, I'm done. But this for me, like the social connections, the going to the rink, you know, the discussions with Carter about hockey, like we shared so much of a bond around that particular sport for the last 13 years of his life. Right. It's every season from August until, you know, April, we were like this going through it together. Right now it's done.
So, you know, totally. And I'm going back to your book analogy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know for me, and I'm assuming that you probably have some similarities and we share a lot.
Yeah.
That when, I mean, granted, reading is not a perfect example for me, probably for you though. Right. So as you're reading that book, I would say somewhere before that book's not even fucking the book in your hand. It's not even close to being over. Right. You got to kind of decide, okay, hey, what's the next one that I'm going to read when this one's over? And you've got to start kind of premeditating the happiness in that next step. So when the time is there, your brain has already got the positive association, you know, like, fuck this, you know, obviously as Carter's coming to the end of this, like, hey, you know, fuck, this might be the end. What an amazing career he had. And the next step is going to be twice as fun. Like when our kids went to college, I looked at it like, fuck, this is going to be a fun chapter because, you know, the dad I was from birth to 18, I get to retire that disciplined motherfucker because they're now into a next step of life and it's a different me, different them. And rather than get butt hurt, a lot of parents get all fucking bent out of shape when their kids take the next step. Yeah. But I think for me, and possibly for you, it's got to do with the premeditated positive association of the next step.
Oh, there's no question about it. I'm confident in my mental strength that I'll get there. For me, I think it's as much, Johnny, is, and I think maybe you were going through it yourself a couple weeks ago. I take pride in creating awareness of a moment, an awareness of a situation. I don't want to ignore what I'm feeling. I don't want to ignore the emotions of the weekend and of right now. And while in the same breath, I don't want it to haul me down. I want to have the awareness of it to move me to next. Right? Because this is as much me, my own humility, my own driver's license, my own, holy shit, you know, my dad's 82, I'm 53, my kid's 18. It's a reflection on life. And I got no negative about it at all. I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset about it. It's just sometimes there's periods in our life. You had a passing a couple weeks ago where all of a sudden you take stock, you take reflection. You have awareness. And that's what I'm going through myself. It's as much my own journey, realizing, okay, so now what am I going to be for the next 10, 15 years of my life? Like because it's in many ways, Johnny, I think it comes down to, you may or may not agree with this, even identity a little bit, right? Like my hockey dad.
Oh, fuck, brother. Oh, no, I totally get that 100%. I mean, that's
my hockey dad hat, Johnny, is now off.
Oh, brother. I think that's probably why those next steps for me need to be premeditated, because I start to connect who I am to it. And I don't feel so fucking lost in the moment of trying to make that step.
Well, and you know what? And honestly, you're in many ways a big part of this, because I think about, okay, so I'm taking my hockey dad hat off officially. Now I'm really putting on the mornings in the lab next future business hat on. And a lot of it has to do with you. So, okay, so what's premeditating the future with my business colleagues, with my friends, with my brothers, and what does that look like? Because the hat that I've been wearing for the last 15 years is now sitting over there on the counter, right? It's not, I'm not putting it on anymore. It's different for me.
Well, let me give you a perspective that may help your journey.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
Because I can only tell you what I see. And so when you sent me the clip of the interview.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so basically I'm watching this thing. Of course, it's very interesting as I'm listening to him, but at the same time, I'm also understanding that, you're his dad, right?
Yeah.
And, this was an experience for both of you guys. And anyway, long and short of it, I'll fucking strip it down. I remember thinking to myself, fuck, this must be a really fucking amazing moment / time for Keith, because he's done a fucking fantastic job with that boy.
Yeah.
So that being said, you got to remember that every other fucking eyeball on the planet other than yours sees the amazing job you did.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, yeah. And that's, and sometimes when we're in the moment, we can't see the moment.
Yeah.
Right. So
100%. It's hard to fucking see ourselves moving around in our own reality sometimes until we hear enough of someone else's perspective to come, oh, okay, I guess I do have my shit together.
And it's funny, Johnny. I can guarantee you this, like 1,000% Carter's waking up today. Sure, he's sad that his hockey career is over, but he's feeling none of the emotions his dad is. He's like, you know what I mean? He's like, what are you talking about? Your emotions? I'm like, no, Carter, you're not an old dude like I am, still trying to figure shit out.
Well, it's kind of crazy. It's a great conversation because to a certain extent, this applies to so many people.
Yes.
Like one phase comes to a close, and other ones opens. And sometimes those things come to a close and you don't want them to close, or you don't see them coming, or whatever it is. And I think I'm a planner. I'm a premeditator. So I think that's been helpful for me. But then there's times when it fucking slaps you and you don't really see it's coming.
Yes.
So I think the foundation, the commonality to it is for us just to remember that it's all good.
Yes. Well, pal, and I know, and this is not a shot. This is real. I know you're not the biggest hockey fan in the world, but I know you know who Wayne Gretzky is. I know you know all about his history, and remarkably enough, yesterday history was also made because Alexander Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's greatest record of all time, which is the goal scoring record in history. So
that's massive.
Yeah, nobody ever. Jack Duggan, good to see you there, brother. Haven't seen you for forever, Duggan. Good to see you there. It is massive, but Johnny, that was another reminder of old Uncle Keith looking at his license, going, "I remember when Gretzky got the fucking the when he broke Gordie Howe's record 40 years ago. Never mind waking up yesterday, going, holy Christ! Like Wayne is now what I was when Carter's age, and it just was a whole reflection of time and how time has passed and all of that, right?
Totally. Another thing we tend to not think about, I think, because of our world, is if we go like in like the Indian culture, put all the old people in a teepee, and they would send the young people in there to talk and learn from them, right? So you looking back over your life, obviously so much happened. You've done so much. There's so much to be proud of. It's almost like if you look back, that's 50 plus years of wisdom that's been accumulated. And for you've done it in a way where you somehow figured out how to forecast the future pretty fucking good.
I'd like to.
So
right. So so I'd like to think so. So I think what you're going to say is be confident about looking at the future because it's bright.
Well, for that too, but also thank the past. Look at that license and go, fuck, man. Yeah, I'm 50x years old, but look at all the fucking knowledge I've acquired up to this point, and look what it's allowing me to do with figuring out shit before that actually happens.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a fair comment. It's a fair comment. I'm really appreciative of when you said the whole idea of the identity, because that's where I think it's hitting me the most, which is that whole, okay, well, I guess that hat's not going to be put on anymore, right? And even just the social aspect of it, right? Like every single year for the last so many years, I knew I had 60 nights of going to Carter's hockey games and seeing the hockey dads and the hockey parents and all that shit. It's all gone now, right? It's all done, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely there's always those things where like, shit, you wish you had more of that for sure.
Yeah, you reflect on it, right? You reflect upon it. So.
Because then sometimes you look back and go, fuck, if I could do that again, I would just be there a little bit more. Not physically, like you're already physically there, but I'm talking about really here being, more intentional in those fucking moments, because you don't realize those moments are going to be fucking gone like a fart in the wind until the wind hits and blows that fart away.
Yes. Yeah, it's exactly. Well, it's interesting you said, because I made a point this last weekend of creating a lot of awareness in the moment. I went to the rink early. I was mentally very aware and very in the moment, because I knew it was going to be over before you knew it. Right. And sure enough, it was over. And I knew this Monday was going to come. And I was looking forward to this because I needed this morning. Sometimes you just need your buddies to talk to you. Right. And that's what I needed this morning. Right? So. And
it was going to be over no matter which way the game went. Correct. So there was you had a guaranteed change coming. Yeah. What you look, and really realistically, you look back in 10 years or even probably a couple, the outcome of that game really didn't change that much
at all. I mean? Nope. You're absolutely correct. That's exactly the truth. So how was your weekend, brother? What happened with your world?
It was good. We actually had, I don't know if I told you, but Thursday or Friday, we got a little heads up from our youngest daughter. She was going to come home for the weekend.
Oh, fun.
And sometimes she says she's thinking about it and not come. So I wasn't really putting it forefront of my mind, because I don't like to get disappointed when, because they have lives and I get it.
Yeah.
The idea of coming home and then something pops up and they don't, she's in college, for Christ's sake.
100%. Yeah.
But she ended up coming home on Saturday, midday. And so it was wonderful to have one of the kids home for the weekend.
That's nice, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was fun. When they're here, I still get up early on the weekends, so I'm up at 3:00 kicking ass doing my thing. So by like noon, when she climbs out of bed, I've already fucking got a full day in. So then at that point, it's like, what do you want to do, kiddo? And she's a lot of times they come home from college, they're tired, so they want a lot of couch time and movie time, which I don't give a shit what she wants to do. I just want to do it with her.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Good for you. Well, which one came home? Middle? Oldest?
Youngest.
Oh, fun. That's fun.
She's the only one left in college now. Fuck. I know, dude. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Crazy as we keep doing this show over the next 10, 15 years, 20 years. You're going to be coming on the show saying, okay, grandchild, next one's coming. I'm going to be saying, hey, Johnny, my first grandchild's coming. And you're going to say, hey, Keith, remember that conversation we had after Carter's done hockey? Yeah. Well, how you feeling today now that you got a grandchild? I'll be like, Andersen, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that was another one too, where obviously, it's like an addition to your identity.
Yeah.
When you become a grandfather, right? It doesn't really change it. It's in addition to, you know what I mean? At least that's the way I perceived it.
I like that. I like how you explain that to me, because that's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I get to put on another hat. The difference is this hat the job description of this hat does not include discipline and punishment.
All it includes is spoiling and giving them back.
Yeah. And so when it comes to, as we move forward, a lot of times, and I know personally many fucking dudes who like got all fucking bent out of shape because they were going to be a grandfather and didn't want to be called grandpa, And our daughter's like, what do you want to be called? I want to be fucking called grandpa is what I want to be called. Come on, man. Well, because it's the poor motherfuckers that look back in their life and go, fuck, I'm old and I didn't get shit done. I don't want to be reminded by this fucking child every time I hear that name.
Yes.
I'm like, I've been fucking waiting for that name. I can't wait for another 5 fucking mouths spitting it out.
So what's funny, man, is that it's been an entire weekend of revelations and just looking back at my life, because the man that I have hanging on my wall over here, the guy who I went and saw this concert, became a fucking grandpa on Friday too. So now, So now I have, my brother across the screen here who's a grandpa. My son's done hockey because he's 18. I got the man who I grew up idolizing here who's changed, my life and had influence on so many people. And now this guy's a fucking grandpa too. So Eminem is a grandpa. I'm like, oh my God, he's an actual grandpa. And his grandchild's name is, get this, Johnny, Elliot Marshall McClintock. His initials, Eminem.
Yeah, I can see that.
Cool. It's pretty cool.
But I bet you, I don't know, but I fucking bet you a dude like that is embracing the shit out of
I guarantee he is.
Why? Because he looks back at his life and goes, fuck, this is another amazing chapter I get to have. Not, fuck, I wish I would have fucking pushed my shit a little harder.
Guarantee.
He pushed his shit so hard, he just about took his life apart. You know what I mean?
Exactly, Clody. Eminem's a grandpa. I know. That's to me where it's like I just wrap my head around, because I was listening to some of his tunes on the way home yesterday too. I'm thinking, geez, this is grandpa rapping these lyrics right now. I'm thinking,
Dude, I remember when he hit the fucking scene with Slim Shady.
Yes,
it was like a fucking bomb that hit the American youth, dude. I shouldn't say American, it was probably the world. I just
100%
at that point, I hadn't gotten across the pond yet. I was still in my fucking early 20s or something.
Yeah. Clody, I got your comments here. Truth, you come to whatever they call you, but my two call me Pops. I love that. Pops. Love it because it was Louis Armstrong's nickname. There you go. We got Clody calling Pops. We got Johnny going with Grandpa. My dad goes with Gigi. Gigi, like a Ukrainian kind of thing, and then
Terry actually went with Noni.
Oh, I like that, Noni. Yeah.
I think because if I remember correctly, I think because we didn't want conflict of names. You know what I mean? Meaning we didn't want too many. We wanted for all of the grandparents, we wanted a name that was individual to them, so it was easier for him.
Yeah.
I was able to fucking put my stamp on Grandpa, so I took that motherfucker.
I'm taking this one. I'm fucking being Grandpa, right? Yeah.
If you're giving me a fucking choice right now, I'm taking this motherfucker. Because I know there's another one on the other side that it gets a choice too. So
that's funny. Ray Clody, they are Loli and Pops. That's pretty cool. Loli and Pops. That's fun. And you're Noni and Grandpa. That's good. That's pretty good. And the Amy Reiner, this is at the core of the midlife crisis, which is a reductive. Yes, you're right. Kids grow up, our identity changes. Get ready. The next 5 or 6 years are going to be wild. I can only imagine, Amy Reiner, they're going to be wild.
Well, I got a little funny side note on that, right?
Yeah.
So Tara and I are empty nesters a couple of years ago, right?
I know you are. Yes.
And for those of you that are waiting for this, let me just give you a little insight so you can brace yourself. Because you fucking raise these children in 18 years and you're fucking duped into believing that you're supervising them. When in actuality, they leave and you realize they've been fucking supervising you all this time.
Right.
All of a sudden it's like Terry and I like, fuck, we can do whatever we want to do. I mean, geez, we actually had to like put some fucking rules down to give ourselves a break from our life expectancy work.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you got to, okay, we have to wait for the fucking sun to go down,
Okay, we have to wear clothes during this part of the day. Okay, we have to. Well, yeah, because when the kids are around, we start to adopt this lifestyle of, well, the kids are
100%. You're fucking looking for the little cracks of, when they're young, they're always around. Then they start going with their friends. You're like, oh, fuck, this is great. And then next thing you know, they're fucking gone. And you're like, well, shit, we can do whatever we want. And then you start to, of course, you go right for the things that you didn't have time to do when they were around.
Yeah.
And then you can do it as much as you want. You realize, holy shit, this is actually a fucking like a vortex that could turn into a negative thing. This could really unbalance my life if I don't fucking control this. Because, what I mean? It's sex can actually be a like an addiction, a negative addiction.
Yes. Oh, I know. 100%. Yeah, Jimmy, we're going to do the accountability check-in. We're going to let John go for a quick break. We're going to come back. And then I got a couple things I want to get on the table with Johnny here. We're going to do, I got a question. I got a lob ball for Johnny. We're going to create some content together. And then we're going to do the 5-second discussion as well. So Johnny, why don't you step out for a second? We'll come back, and then I got something to throw at you to make some content together. All right?
Let's go, baby.
All right, brother. Let's do it. Oops, not that one. Jimmy, we're going to do, where is it, Jimmy? This one. That's it right there. All right. Uncle Keith with the scratchy voice. Yes, Rick Clody. Lots of things can fall into that vortex of attraction and addiction, Johnny. Yeah, true story. All right. I love the fact you guys are all adopting Uncle Keith's true story moniker. That's awesome, man. We know we're having an influence when people are adopting the language of the show. All right, Jimmy, here we go, brother. Let's get after it. Are your healthy boundaries actually prison walls? You guys love my voice here today? Yeah. I'm supposed to do an interview later this morning. I'm supposed to be on a show, some other guy's show. Adam Bird. Love you, Adam. Heroes Media Group. We're going to be in their morning show, but I don't know, Adam, if you want my voice on your show this morning. All right. I love structure. I always have early alarms, clear routines, solid habits. It was that kind of clarity helped me rebuild. It gave me peace when everything else was chaos. It gave me momentum when I needed direction. But I learned something important along the way. Structure, it only helps when it evolves with you. Listen, my routines were helping until they started getting in the way. I got so used to doing things a certain way that any change threw me off. And it's funny because that's how my mind is going through right now. There's a change happening. There's a change happening in my world, and it's throwing me off. I'm not saying I'm not embracing it. It's just, it's a change. And when I don't have that routine, it kind of messes me up, right? It leaves me kind of all over the place, less focused, perhaps more irritable. And it stopped being about progress and started being about control. What started as support turned into restriction. A helpful system became something I had to obey. That's where I had to check myself. Now, I love structure. I still believe in routine. I absolutely have my non-negotiables. But, like I'm doing right now, I routinely pause to assess if I'm growing or I'm slipping back into mediocrity. Because boundaries that never move eventually become walls. And I'm not here to stay boxed in, baby. Nope. I'm here to keep expanding. So I invite you to consider this question. The routine that got you here, the routine that got you to this moment, is it that same routine that's going to help you grow, or is it going to hold you back? Because if you're no longer growing, it's just a comfort zone that looks and feels deceptively effective. So I ask you, look back at the last month. Everything that's got you here, is it the same thing? Or do you need to make a slight little tweak to move you up a little further? There's your accountability check-in this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Every day at 8:15. A little bit later today, of course. All right, Jimmy, let's bring Johnny back up here. Johnny, so I was influenced by an article I saw this weekend, and I thought that we can make some great content around it. And it was this. It was the question was asked of another famous athlete, doctor, nutrition, physical fitness dude. Leave him off to the side, and I wanted to have it with you because of your experience in strongman body wrestling. And the question I'm going to have for you is, and I suspect I know what your answer is going to be, but I want to riff with you and I want to create some content on this. Jon Andersen is going to reveal over the next number of moments, nation, if you should start your workout routine with cardio or resistance training. So Johnny, let's have a conversation about cardio or resistance. What should somebody start their workout with first? A cardio workout or resistance training? Jon Andersen.
Well, let's just pretend that it's you, right? Because I can't answer that question without understanding more about the individual. You know?
Perfect.
So the first question you got to ask yourself is what is your goal behind your exercise?
My goal would be to change my body composition, loosen body fat, increase my muscle mass. And
how important is building muscle mass in the equation?
I want to have a better physique than I have today. So muscle mass is important to me.
Okay. So first thing you got to understand about cardio, as we're calling it, which
yes.
So we also got to define cardio. Cardio is not using a piece of cardio equipment to warm up. cardio would be getting on a piece of equipment and maintaining a steady state. That's generally speaking what cardio means for people.
Okay.
Generally. So I'm assuming we're going to go with that general meaning.
Perfect. Yes.
So if building muscle is very important, then what you have to recognize is that cardio before or after your workout is going to inhibit your ability to build muscle. Let's go into why. If you do it first, what you're doing is you're burning up the storages that you need to kick ass with lifting those weights. Okay. Now, if you do it afterwards, you're basically taking away from your body's ability to recover from the broken down muscle tissue, which we know in that first 90 minutes, I call it 60, is imperative. So if you're so what I recommend to people, if building muscle is important, you need to get that cardio at least 2 hours away for whichever direction you want to go from your weight training.
Okay.
Now that's if building muscle is really important. If building muscle is not important, then really loosens up the reins, because if you don't really care about building muscle, we don't really give too much of a shit about we don't want to put the body's ability to rebuild that muscle at the top of the totem pole, when maybe the purpose is to maintain good health, stay fit and keep, the time parameters low. Because generally speaking, splitting up workouts like that is not going to favor someone who is short on time. He wants to get in, get it done.
I got you.
So the cardio thing really comes down to the goal. So, and most people think it's better to do after the workout, which from the standpoint of the performance in the workout, yes. From the perspective of recover from the workout, no.
Yeah, I got you. So ideally, again, we're using myself as your disciple. Ideally, Keith, if you have the time, if cardio is important to you, you would get your resistance training done during my morning, my non-negotiables. Focus on that. Focus on getting my lift in. Focus on getting my food in. Focus on getting my recovery in. And then perhaps later on in the day, again, if my cardio is important to me, that's when you'd recommend I would be doing that.
Separating, yes. But if I was to make my recommendation, I would want that cardio activity done earlier in the day, because the earlier in the day it is, the better, the more benefits there are for you.
Okay. So expand upon that, please, then. Again, using myself.
So benefits, like perfect example, I would, from the standpoint of getting the most benefit, I would say get that shit done as quickly as you can, because you're going to wake up. It's going to get your metabolism going. It's going to give you a cascade of positive chemicals. The hormones that your brain is going to dump by doing exercise shortly out of bed is going to be fucking far greater than sometime at night.
Yes.
It's going to help. And keep in mind, we look at fitness as a tool to help us live better lives. This is not, okay, fitness, we're going to fuck the rest of our lives up to do it. That is not the way we look at it.
No.
So just by putting that cardio activity right early in the day, there's so many more benefits to having a good day.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely does. Yes.
As you wake up, you're all fucking bent out of shape about something, and you don't do any exercise until say noon. The odds are you're going to have a hard time shaking that shit, because blood flow changes our physiology. When our physiology changes, boom, here comes the fucking cascade. Very difficult for us to fucking have a bad day after that.
I love that you brought that up, because I know we're both big fans of the morning and both big fans of creating and living our non-negotiables in the morning. We've never really talked much about this part of it, though. But if you wake up with your mindset in the wrong space, until you get that lift in, or get that heart rate up, or get that blood flowing, that mind space is going to be in a bad space all day. So you're right. The quicker you get
possibly, it is fucking difficult to pull that shit out of there. Like, my morning exercise is kind of like my safety net.
Yeah, me too.
If all else fucking fails, I know that I can bust a quick sweat, and I'm going to be, if let's just say I wake up, I'm at a 5, right?
Yeah.
And I want to operate at a 9+. And I fucking get myself from, say, a 5 to a 6 or a 7 just with my normal mental practices, then I know that, 10 minutes of some sort of sweating, so to speak, or breathing hard is going to take me from that 7 to that 9.
Yes.
Or it could even take me from the 5 to the 9. Depends. Sometimes I get on that thing and I'm like, I really need to kick my ass. Like if I need to kick my ass in that 10 minutes, because 10 minutes is the max I'll do early morning. I don't need any more. It's really not about the fitness. So sometimes, and I've even got on here and said, yeah, I really busted my ass this morning because I knew that if I didn't get a heavy, heavy dose of my brain's shit, I was not going to be where I wanted to be. And especially with this show at 5 o'clock, now I have like okay, you need to be fucking on.
Yeah.
By at least 4:59.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm with you, man. Like as we know, my mind was a little bit messy this morning. So my eyes were open before my alarm went off this morning. So I was up out of bed, grabbed a shower and had my coffee and came down to the gym, got my lift in, and then I went for a run. And bro,
let me just interject right there. That's actually fucking beautiful because the flip side is you didn't want to get up to face this new reality.
It's funny you say that though, because I'm not.
People do that shit all the time. It's fucking unbelievable.
Not to sound all belligerent, but that's not an option for me though.
Because you've trained your mind to lean into challenges, not run from them.
Right. That wasn't even an option. I was like, okay, because I knew that I knew a few things. I knew 3 things to be true in my head. I knew my lift was going to move me in the right direction. I knew my elevated heart rate, whether it was on the bike or on this treadmill, was going to move me in the right direction. And then I knew this conversation, spending time with you and Marty or you and me this morning, was going to move my head in the right direction. So those were 3 non-negotiables for me that I knew that by 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern Time, my mind was going to be in a much better direction than if I would have sat and wallowed and kept hitting the snooze button.
Yeah, very, 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 very true, brother. You know, it's kind of interesting because now that we really break down this whole waking up thing,
yeah,
it really gives us I guess a clear idea of what's going on. Because like if my body's recovered, I'm not overtrained, right? When it's time for me to get up, if I'm not fucking excited to get up, then something came out of alignment.
Yes.
And it's a really fucking good indicator. Because if you're fucking struggling to get up, I mean, granted, the reason I said recovered, because if I'm really fucking sore and I'm beat up, that sometimes is a challenge. But from the head space, from the emotional space, from the spiritual space, not the physical space, when you're ready to get up and hard charge the day, you are aligned with your purpose and your passion. When you're having a hard time getting up and hard charges of the day, the odds are something has come out of alignment.
Yes. Oh, there's no question about it. Dugan, I see you there, pal. Being here this morning is exactly what I need. I need to get back to my healthy routines. This show helped me so much last year. Then life happened. Thank Keith and John as always. Dugan, we're here, brother. We're all in this together, right? We are all in life together. And the reason that we started the show was to give spaces for men like John, Keith, yourself, Dugan, Rick, Clody, space to come and get our lives started out and move forward in life. And John and Clody's coming in. Would love to hear more about Johnny's mental practices for his day's start. Well, I can tell you, Rick, that John gets his day started and he counts himself in. Johnny, have you been extending your counting times in the mornings or what?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that when I was going through, I guess you call it my discovery phase.
A couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Excuse me. What I knew was there was something I needed to lean into, something I needed to work on discovering. And so I did. I opened up my meditation time. So I had close to an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And many times, that's a fucking long time for anybody who's ever tried to fucking meditate.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, so I get in there, and what I've been doing is I've been getting in there as quickly as I can after I get up. So I want to be in that, I think it's theta, the state, the brain waves, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of a trip because normally I don't get into that fast. So I'm a little more awake. And I get in there and I find myself almost like questioning, are you falling asleep? And I'm not. I'm just in a fucking different space. I'm not used to being there because I haven't really, my consciousness hasn't come all the way. All I've really done is take a piss, possibly a dump, had some fucking water. You know, the coffee's brewing. That's one of the things I'm really enjoying too, is the coffee is fucking brewing when I'm sitting there. So
I smell
towards the end, as I start to kind of come out, I'm reminded of one of the things that I'm really fucking looking forward to, which is that, because that I'm telling you, when I can look forward to a fucking cup of coffee, like, God damn it, that's gonna be good. Yeah, I can feel some fucking brain chemistry hit from that. I know I'm on.
It's for somebody who's used to moving all the time and always get after it, to sit in your own mental space for 60 minutes, let alone 10.
Challenging. Yeah. Yeah, very, very. And so, excuse me. So it was definitely that's been really good. And I guess it's just another step in the evolution. I went through the, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It was basically calling me to take I guess you say different, which I would consider to different or new. I would consider those in my world as better.
Yeah. Hey, do you follow any particular meditation practices? Like, do you have an app on your phone or anything, or do you do self-guided meditation?
That's a great, I mean, for the most part, it's me. One of the reasons that I do that, and this goes back to the fucking very beginning, is that I don't want to try to fucking follow the leader.
Yes.
That was not my strength. My strength was fucking creating my own path.
Yes.
And so, perfect example, like if Terry and I are brainstorming about something, the way her mind goes is she goes straight to the internet to look for ideas.
Yes.
I'm like, please don't tell me, because I don't want an idea to come from an external source. I want to see what I come up with.
Oh yeah.
Because generally speaking, the way my brain is fucking wired, I'm going to see a really fucking simple path to get to point B. I don't want to be convoluted with the fucking the mere mortal brain who overcomplicates shit for me to get where I want to go.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because as I've been building the lab, and I always like to use the restaurant analogy because I think most can articulate with that, or relate to it, I should say. I want to know how to make the pizza myself before I show Jimmy and Melissa how to make the pizza. I don't want somebody to teach me how to make the pizza that they made their way. I want to be
because to your credit though, brother. I mean, nobody's made this fucking pizza before, so you can't expect them to fucking make a pizza that you have this vision of a pizza.
Yes, but
you have to fucking create it, give them a taste, and say, okay, now hopefully I can teach you how to do this.
But it's the same thing with you. You're like, I don't want somebody to tell me how to do it.
Yes.
I am going to figure it out myself, because okay, that guy there has been the greatest stone lifter in his entire life. I respect him. I want to listen to what he has to say. I want to hear what he has to say. But I believe that your next step from that would be, but I want to go do it myself. I want to hear everything he has to tell me, but I want to go and do it myself, learn it my way, learn how I'm going to lift stone, learn my principles, learn my practices, so that I can establish the Jon Andersen way. That's how I suspect you'd go about it. I'm the same way about it. Am I correct?
Yeah, 100%. And when it comes to, I guess the interesting thing is that there's so many different elements of our lives, and when we truly commit, I guess you'd say it's almost like my identity is to find simple ways to do complex things, because that's kind of how I was. It's how I was able to keep my head above water from when I was younger. I was a kid. And so when you know that that's who you are, it gives you confidence to know that, okay, this is uncharted territory, but this is what you do. You've become you've made a fucking life out of this. Give yourself fucking credit. Most people have not spent fucking 50 years figuring out the simplest way to do something.
Well, so that's one thing. You had some content up on Instagram. I saw. Actually, speaking of, I love the meat cake. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, go check out Johnny's Instagram page, man. He got gifted a meat cake from his family for this January for his birthday. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. It's a freaking 2 massive patties of meat, cauliflower mash as icing in between the two, with cherry tomatoes as the cherries. Dude,
that actually fucking, it looked, if you didn't know any better.
Yeah, dude, you got to go check out You got to go check out Johnny's. If anything,
just so everybody knows, I kind of felt bad to a certain extent. It was on my birthday, but when I posted it wasn't my birthday because Terry was like, "This is really fucking a unique fucking thing." In my mind, I was like, "This is what we do," but she's like, "I know this is what you think we do, but this is fucking unique. People are gonna really like this." I was like, "Fuck," So I put that together, dropped it out of there. When my birthday's actually January 8th, which, just passed. But so for those of you that wish me a happy birthday, it was actually a little late.
Yeah.
I didn't advertise my birthday on my birthday. So it's
Jimmy, let's make a note of it, Jimmy. Let's grab the video for tomorrow. We're going to drop it tomorrow on tomorrow's show because I don't think Clody or Dugan, you guys come back tomorrow. We're going to show you guys the meat cake. That's I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. But what I was saying though, John, one thing I've really appreciated as I've gotten to know you, because it's even had to do with my identity when I was coming back and kind of rebuilding myself, is that you've done a really wonderful job building up your identity around good habits. What I'm trying to say is that my success is 100% equivocally linked to good habits. And that's what you are. That's what your identity is. And that's what people know you as, right? And I like that because that's the simplest way to say it. When so often we think of everything that I'm good at this because of this. No, you're good at that because you got good habits.
Like, dude, I literally just made a video and it was saying, look, if you're in great shape, it's because I started off the video by saying, hey, look, no matter what, you're going to be fucking judged.
Yes.
Because the people that judge you, they don't look at the fucking habits that got these things. So if you're in great shape, you're on juice. If you got fucking money, you're lucky.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the flip side of that is if you're overweight, you're lazy. You're going to get judged either way. But what I guess the people talking shit about that video, they are so like, they just probably because they have none of these habits in their lives themselves. So they have no idea the power behind them.
Yes. But what I love about it though, is that it's something that every human can relate to, but nobody talks enough about. And that's what I'm really enjoying about getting to know you. And
habits?
Yes.
Habits that don't talk. Oh, dude, it's a fucking dirty word.
Nobody talks about them.
No, because you know why? Because people don't fucking have them.
I know. Like I found a guy on Instagram.
Excuse me. People have the wrong kind of habits. So when you have the right habits, they talk shit about them.
Yes.
Sorry for interrupting, brother.
No, you're absolutely right. Okay, so Jimmy's pulled the fucking magic out of his hat here. So Nation, you're all paying attention now. Clody, Dugan.
There it is. Look at that.
Let's roll it, brother. Let's roll the meat cake. Jon Andersen's meat cake.
This is Andersen's meat cake.
That's a meat. That's meat patty. That's cauliflower mash, and that's cherry tomato.
That's a birthday cake.
This is your birthday, baby.
That's it.
Happy birthday, my love.
Thank you.
I love you.
You too.
So how did you cut that? How did you crush it? Did you guys share it? Like, how did you eat that fucking thing?
We just fucking cut it like a cake. I mean, it's a cake, dude. What are you gonna, just because it's not fucking made of sugar, you gonna treat it differently? I mean, fuck, what? Come on. But what's really cool about that story, which you could hear Terry's and one of my daughter's voices in the background.
Yes.
So what they did was they actually, because that was like during the middle of the week.
Oh yeah.
So that middle daughter at the time was going to San Diego State.
Okay.
And so she called me and said, Daddy, I need to come home for a couple of days, blah, 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 whatever I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a little bit of a I need to come home, Daddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fuck, I'm I'm not a problem because fuck, by the time fucking traffic goes by, I've already got fucking 6 hours in the day. I'm fucking good. I'll see you in the morning. Right.
Yeah.
And so basically this whole thing was set up between Terry and our middle daughter. So it was basically me going to get her because it was basically the time that Terry needed to make this fucker.
What I was going to ask, I was about to ask, when did she make this being around?
Yeah.
Always around.
Well, when I left, I assumed she was making fucking hamburgers for me because she had a shitload of ground beef thawing out. You know, of course, you know, it was like she said it was like just barely fucking done when we got home.
Oh,
so
yeah.
My daughter was trying to slow me down. I can't remember what she was doing, but when the whole experience was over, then I got to kind of look back and go, fuck, this makes it even more special because you two were in cahoots trying to make this surprise. Because I walked in the house.
Yeah.
And I had fucking no idea. I mean, looking back, my middle daughter was kind of smirky. I was like, fuck, she really is happy to be home.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you guys crush it all that one day? Or did you have leftovers?
I mean, it was really fucking amazing tasting, but you know, true to anything else, I try not to fucking overeat because I'm going to eat again in a few hours. That's, you know, that's part of the philosophy anyway. So did I probably have a few too many bites? I would imagine that I did, but not enough for me to remember.
That's awesome.
Key.
That's awesome. Well, hey, listen, let's do this. Why don't we do a lifestyle tip and then we come back? You want to take a quick break and then we'll wrap up with a few other things. Sound like a plan to you?
Let's go, baby.
All right, pal. Let's do this. Let's get this up here. All right, Johnny. Let's do it, pal.
All right, this one's going to be potential all over the place as I kind of navigate through these different layers. So people think goals, and goals sometimes can be a little bit distracting, but that's not really what this is about. So there's goals, and then there's your standard, and then there's your identity. We've been talking about identity today. You know, when your identity is that you choose to do hard things rather than easy things. Your identity can be that, you know, you're not someone who works out. You just work out. You know, the working out becomes a part of you. Your identity is basically who you are when it comes to, in many cases, doing the shit that most people won't do. That's where I hang my hat. Now, that's your identity. Then you have your standard. Your standard is the fact that I will never hit the fucking snooze button. Your standard is that I'm going to do this and I do it, right? Then on top of your standard is the goal. Now, the goal, these are just a bunch of fucking, I guess you'd say, checkpoints along the way. So what I'm getting at, this long-winded lifestyle tip is this. If you're focusing on the goal, drop it down a little bit. What's your standard? If you understand your standard and your standard is where it needs to be, your goal is going to happen. Then go one layer deeper and let's start looking at your identity. Because once your identity is in place and you understand your standard of how you operate, those fucking goals, they just start. I mean, it's almost like you're just doing this all the time because you're fucking watching them pass by. The question you got to ask yourself is, what are you focusing on? Rock and roll.
Focusing on this morning. Morning's Alive with Keith and friends. Got Jon Andersen, lifestyle tip. Johnny, why don't you take a quick break for a little reset on the bladder there, and we'll come back and keep the show rolling, brother.
That's right.
All right, so Johnny's a step away for a quick second here, guys. You got Keith Bilous here, Jon Andersen, every single day here. I usually have a normal voice. Today, I left my voice at the hockey rink all weekend. Hey, Jay, I see you there in the comments. Good morning from X. Thanks for joining the show here this morning. We stream live every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time on X, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then we drop the show on Apple and Spotify on the podcast side of things every single day. And of course, we have Inside the Lab, the behind-the-scenes experience about how we're building the largest morning show for men. If you are looking to build a community, if you are looking to relaunch your own self, your own human, your own personal brand, I can teach you how to do that by joining the lab. By starting conversations and starting conversational content. I'm just struggling with my words here this morning. So we're just doing the best we can here. Why? Because we show up every single day here. Listen, I want to have a conversation with Johnny here. Come out a couple moments. We're going to talk about Mel Robbins. And Mel is obviously a very successful podcaster, host, influencer. And she has something talking about, which is the 5-second rule. What's shaking, Jay? Where are you joining us from today, Jay? If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe to our channel on the YouTube side of things, or you can follow our profile on the X side of things as well, Jay. But good to have you here on the show here this morning. Great to see you here in the comments. So as I was saying, we got a 5-second rule discussion we're going to come with Johnny about Mel Robbins, and I thought this was great for Keith and John to dig in here today, because we are big believers in getting up, getting going, and crushing, as Johnny talked about goals, but crushing the habits that we need to complete to hit our goals. So we're going to have that discussion with John here in a couple seconds about Mel Robbins and how to beat procrastination. Guys, procrastination can kill you if we're not getting after it. Johnny, are you familiar with Mel Robbins?
I am.
Yeah. So I thought we could take a few moments, talk a little bit about what she's well known for, and let's get into it. Guys, have you ever found yourself stuck in the endless loop of procrastination and unable to break free? Well, today, for the next number of minutes here with John and myself, we're going to dive into the powerful 5-second rule by Mel Robbins, a simple yet transformative approach to overcoming procrastination and boosting your productivity instantly. Now, guys, this isn't just about getting things done. It's about rewiring the brain to move past hesitation, right? Wanting to hit the snooze button, enhancing self-confidence. We talk about it all the time on the show. And here's the most important thing: taking control of your life, literally, one countdown at a time. Now, John, the 5-second rule works by leveraging a brief critical window, just 5 seconds to act before your brain talks you out of it. Now, before I go into that, into the research, Johnny, we talk about it. I want you to talk about the simplification of where your brain is like, I'm going to go do this. You got 5 seconds to do something before your brain goes in another direction. Simplify it for me, brother.
Well, first, it's crazy that this is the topic, because I didn't know it was coming before my lifestyle tip. But what we're talking about is the 5-second rule kind of plays into helping you create your standard.
Yes. My
My standard is that when it's fucking time to do something, I do it.
Yes.
Right. And so the 5-second rule, is like, it's a great concept,
Yes.
Obviously the 5-second rule, I would venture to say that people that put it into play probably outgrow it, because it's like a tool that they've used to get to that point where my standard is that I do what I say I'm going to do. I don't fucking think about it. I do it. And so, it's like, when it comes down to it, your brain is in charge. When your body is always going to be like, oh, I don't want to get in that cold water. I don't want to get up, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And your brain is for the most part, helping the body fucking convince you. Well, you've got the idea of the standard of not entertaining those thoughts is, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. Do it.
Yes.
Now, for those people that are having a hard time, like, okay, I know what I need to do, but somehow that switch of do it is not there.
Yes.
Totally get it. Well, bam, here comes Mel. Well, guess what? I know I need to do something. Bam, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to fucking count my way to it. 1, 2, fuck, this is going to suck. 3, god damn it. 4, shit. 5, here we go. Let's do it. Well, bam, now you're moving. And at some point, you're going to find yourself not making it to 5. You might fucking be going on 3. You might be maybe you don't even have a chance to take a deep breath and go, God damn it, because you're already in motion. But it's a fucking great tool to start moving in the right direction and basically training your brain to go when it's time to go, which that is your standard. Your standard is when it's time for me to do it, I do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Johnny?
What is it? It's whatever the fuck needs to be done.
Exactly. You know what's great about this is research shows that during these first few seconds, your prefrontal cortex, the decision-making center of your brain, is highly activated, and it's allowing you to bypass the amygdala's fear response. So when you count backwards from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5, it creates a mental shift from hesitation to action, disrupting procrastination patterns and creating powerful momentum. And as Johnny has talked about, and here's how Mel Robbins talks about it, here's how you can start applying the 5-second rule immediately. When you get up, when you start rolling, identify the tasks you've been avoiding, no matter how small. When you feel hesitation, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then physically move. Take the first step, whether it's standing up, opening a laptop, or making the call, right? And think about this. What's one task you've been putting off? If you can get up and get moving and get that task done, that next task is going to happen that much easier. Jon Andersen.
100%. Because it's the first step is always the most difficult. The second is easier than the first. Third is better than the second. So really what this did, I mean, if you strip this down, you're getting really fucking good at taking the first step. And if you're good at taking the first step, you become good at getting uncomfortable. If you become good at getting uncomfortable, now you're in a place where you can't help but to fucking improve, because as human beings, we get better when we're uncomfortable. It's friction that forces us to change even when we don't want to. And so this is like the first domino, like one of those really fucking cool domino things where you push the first one.
Yeah.
So look at it like that. It's like, having the ability to take that first step is basically the ability to push that first domino. And you know that once you get good at pushing the domino, this whole thing is just going to open up.
And guys, remember, beating procrastination isn't about perfection. It's about progress, right? And every time you use the 5-second rule, you're choosing action over inaction. You're building confidence and shaping the life you truly want. And as Jon alluded to it a few moments ago, and I did as well in the accountability check-in, I think when you get really good at this, what you have to ask yourself is, are you now just going through the motions, or how can you get even better at it? You've heard me talk before about, race car drivers, turning the lug nuts just a couple of inches to make the car go faster. Well, once you get really good at something, you might find yourself just going through the motions over time because you're good at it. You have to ask yourself, how can you get even better?
And that's such a great fucking question. And really what it comes down to, are you pursuing failure?
Yes.
Because most people, it's that part of our brain that's trying to keep us safe is what's keeping us from procrastinating or not doing what we're supposed to do, because failure from the brain standpoint is considered to be a bad thing, dangerous, right? As to where, like a threat to our survival. When really what you got to remind yourself is failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. So if you're not truly pursuing failure, you're going to end up getting in that thing where you're kind of doing this, but nothing's really happening.
What I think what happens at that point is you're just accepting mediocrity, because you're literally going through the motions, right? Yeah. That's what happens, right?
Yeah. And if you're going through a motion where there's some real risk of fucking failure, you can't help but to fucking stand up out of your chair and put your gloves on.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely true. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith and Jon. Mornings in Live with Keith and friends. The horseless, voiceless Keith Bilous here this morning. We're going to wrap up here shortly. Jimmy, we're going to pass on the community corner here today because I don't think anybody wants to hear my scratchy voice on some of the content we're going to create later. So we'll do that. We'll do that tomorrow, Jimmy. Here. So Keith and Johnny are going to put some time back into our calendars here today. Johnny, what do you got going on today? I got to ask you this, man. A couple weeks ago, you said, and you can tell what my brain's been thinking this weekend about you. You said to me a couple weeks ago that I don't even know if I want to ride the motorbike anymore. And you were questioning your love for that. And that's been kind of weighing on me because I know how much you love that. Are you back in the motorbike yet, brother? Where's your head?
I have yet to get back on it. Yeah. But I think what it comes down to is that it's almost like there's a lot of things in my life that I really enjoy to do.
Yeah.
But they're the icing on the cake. They're not the cake.
Yeah.
And if somehow I've lost, the touch or the passion or whatever it is with my cake, that's my attention is constantly pulled there. So I didn't want to ride the motorbike because I was in a fucking self-discovery phase where, and I'm still there and up to the point where it sounds interesting, but it's like I feel like I still have some discovery to do, which is really much more intriguing to me. So it's really what it was. It was just the fact that it just kind of slid down the totem pole because there's some other shit going on in my life that's more interesting.
Yes, there you go. That's awesome. Dugan, great segment on procrastination. I've never heard of the 5-second rule. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. It's so true, Jack. Those 5 seconds, man. I really believe the power in 5 seconds, is it's back to snoozing. If you make the decision before the guy that doesn't, you're going to be ahead of that. I know it's so cliche and so obvious, but most folks, in my experience, are not acting within 5 seconds.
You know what makes a lot of this stuff really easy for me, brother? And I say this shit all the time.
Yeah.
But this is really, really motivating to me is I do what people won't do.
Yes.
And that's part of my identity. Well, excuse me. I'm really fucking really a little choking today. Forgive me. But the snooze button, everybody fucking hits the snooze button. So you're going to be fucking, I am not going to fucking hit that thing.
I know.
Because when everybody's doing it,
yes,
I do hard shit because I know how the type of hard things make me feel good. Hard things move my life forward. Hard things, it's like I choose hard things, do difficult things, and my life is easy.
Yes.
If I didn't choose hard things, if I made the easy choices, my life would be hard. If I make the hard choices, my life is easy. And it's so easy to figure out how to get on this path because all you got to do is look around and not do the shit that the masses are doing.
It's funny because
it's so fucking easy.
Well, and I don't want to. I don't want this to come across in a negative. I'm better than you, and I know you're not feeling that.
No.
Way. No, it's not.
It's just a really fucking great barometer,
the same way. So I was out of town all weekend with a bunch of hockey parents and for the hockey tournament, and I did my own thing all weekend. And it's not because I didn't want to hang out with anybody, but I don't get joy in sitting in a restaurant drinking beers and eating a bunch of crappy food, watching. That's not joy to me. My joy was sitting in my room, getting some stuff ready for today's show and for Tuesday's show. That's joy to me. Right. Or getting to bed early so I can get up and go for a walk. Right. So, but to your point, that was easy for me. But I found myself, Johnny, reflecting. I was out for a walk yesterday. I found myself reflecting back when I was in college. And I'm thinking, wow, I've been this way my whole life. My college guys are like, hey, come to the bar, come do this. And I was as a young man dealing with my own maybe kind of the peer pressure of it all, going, should I go to the bar and drinking? Yet all I wanted to do was go home, eat, sleep, and go to the gym. And that's what I did as a young boy, but I felt awkward. I felt like I was the odd one, right? Because back was there still growing up as a young man, you got all those peer things, right? And I was reflecting on it yesterday. Well, wow, I haven't changed. I'm the same human. That's exactly who I am, and I love it.
Well, but here's the thing. I bet you, and correct if I'm wrong, because I put myself in your shoes, and I'm thinking to myself, what would really drive me to go to that restaurant? And of course I wouldn't have beer. I'd have a Diet Coke, and I probably would be eating differently than everybody else. But what would drive me to go there? What would drive me to go there is if I was sitting in a bunch of like-minded people.
Well, and I was
in many cases, you're looking at going, okay, this is it sounds great, but when it's going to be a bunch of conversation that's not terribly interesting to me. It's just not an investment of, I got X amount of time. Do I want to invest my time in that space? And, unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately, however you want to frame it, you looked at that and said, I have a better place to invest my time. And that's most people, they don't do that. They don't see it. They look for, oh shit, here, fuck, beer and wings. Fuck, I'll talk about anything.
Yes. Yeah. And again, and where I, and this is not and I know you feel the same. It's not about putting down those that do that.
No,
just not one who likes the small, talk that doesn't go anywhere, doesn't mean anything. I would love to sit down over a game of chess with you and have an in-depth conversation and talk philosophy and take our minds down a path where like that shit's interesting to me. Like, or the kind of conversations we have on the show. But just to dot the I's and cross the T's and talk kind of around the perimeter about meaningless shit, it doesn't really get me excited.
Brother, let's frame that. Did Edison do shit like that? Did he sit around and waste his time with meaningless conversation? Did Steve Jobs do stuff like this? Did Albert Einstein? No, these are people who recognized where they wanted to put their time, and that's exactly what they did, and they became great fucking leaders and great men.
Yeah.
So it's really comes down to, what the fuck are you? What's important to you?
Yeah. Are you the shepherd or are you the sheep? As I like to talk about often, right? The shepherd or the sheep. So, man, Johnny, thank you, man. I knew today's show was going to be a different one. I threw the script out the window today on purpose because my voice wasn't here, and I just wanted to have a conversation about life, which we had today, just like we had one with you a couple weeks ago. And that's the power of this show. We've had some great, we had Rick Clody, Amy, and we got Jack Dugan. Jack, who hasn't been around for a while. Jack was going through a journey, Johnny, and Jack has been going through his journey. He's back with us now. And Jack, we got you, brother. Hopefully you're going to hang out with us a little more here in the mornings and get yourself back going here again. But it was good. Tomorrow we got a big show. We got a 7:15 guest. We got an 8:15 guest. Those guests come from my buddy Jack from Sales Bread, who's out there booking folks for us. So Jack is delivering. So tomorrow's a big show for us. So what I'm going to suggest we do, Jimmy, is we're going to wrap up today's show. Keith and Johnny are going to get 15 minutes back into our day. And we're back tomorrow with Marty and the whole gang here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Johnny, what do you got on the agenda today, brother?
So today I've got a nice block of time where I'm going to be working. So basically as a entrepreneur business owner, there's the blocks of time where you work in your business.
Yes.
And then there's blocks of time where you work on your business.
Yes.
And I've got a massive block of time to work on the business today, which excites me because I'm just going to really try to go deeper into deeper layers of discovering social media, and because it's, fucking shit is changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just feel like it's time for me to get a more clear picture of the future of what I need to do with social.
When you do that, how do you learn I'm curious actually, what do you do? Do you sit down? Do you do some research? Do you do video watching? How do you teach yourself? You laugh.
It's fucking because I was actually going through this the other day because I'm actually committing some time in this discovery process to scrolling, but I'm scrolling amongst, I guess you'd say creators that, are doing different shit. So it was really fucking weird for me to sit there. Like today I have a time block off for scrolling because even though I know it's productive, it's like fucking really goes against
I know.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
So you're going, I'm wasting my time right now. I do it all the time and I have to tell myself, no, I'm teaching myself something for tomorrow. Like I literally have to say it out loud sometimes to myself going, what the fuck am I doing? All right. I'm teaching myself something for tomorrow. This is a good use of my time.
Well, totally. And one of the things that I'm doing today that makes this easier is once I find, say, a handful of other creators that I see some stuff they're doing that I want to study.
Yeah.
I'll get on that page and I will scroll through their stuff only. Yes. So there's going to be a phase of, okay, let's gather a couple people I want to study. Then let's go to that page. Because once I'm to that page, that feeling will go away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
Pretty fucking weird.
Good for you. No, dude, I can relate. Especially when I find myself on X. I have a love-hate with X, right? Because X can can be a cesspool. However, there's so many smart creators on the platform as well. So it's finding the smart ones, the ones you're going to learn from, and not getting down the pool of crap, right?
Well, because we all had to go in some sort of a phase of limiting or eliminating our scrolling.
Yes.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, it's like I'm a recovering alcoholic, let's say. And now I'm going to fucking go into the bar. God damn it. Go get a fucking, steak in a fucking restaurant that doesn't have the booze. This would be a lot easier. You know what I mean? But you have to, it's like in this situation, there's going to be some scrolling involved, and you just have to realize that you better fucking put on because that stuff, I'll tell you, I so get how when you hit your home button and you fucking start scrolling with the shit they're serving up to you. Oh, motherfucker.
Well,
it's like dude.
If one is not disciplined with good habits, those bad habits of scrolling, you look at your watch, you're like, oh my God, I've just lost 67 minutes of my life because I haven't moved and I've been scrolling.
Dude, and the technology is fucking way smarter than we give it credit for.
Yes.
It's like it's those motherfuckers or that algorithm, whatever you want to call it, can figure out what's fucking at that fucking moment, what's perked you. And you guarantee that something along those lines, but even a little bit more fucking addicting is coming your way next.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I have some good videos that I've saved over the weekend that I found. If I remember today, I'll share them with you as well. I don't mind watching some of Gary Vaynerchuk's stuff. I grew up with Gary along the way in the social media world, so I certainly appreciate some of the things that he's saying. And we're on the right path, man, with the stuff we're doing here. So I'm going to be doing some research today as well, and obviously getting ready for tomorrow. And we got Clody coming in with, the reason those social media sites are free is because we are the product. It's so true, man. We are absolutely the product, and that's how that whole industry works. So, all right, well, listen, guys, we're going to get out of here. Keith and Johnny are going to rock and roll, and we're going to be back here tomorrow. That's it right there. Johnny, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the talk today, man. I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. It was always, these are conversations that benefit both of us.
I agree. Yeah, it's funny because I was getting out of the shower today and I was like, you know what? I was not reluctant. I just knew today's show was not what I had planned for, but I knew this is exactly how I wanted it to be. So thank you. It was a good one.
Well, the thing that I always, remind people in general is that I'll have one of these fucking conversations with anybody if you've got some fucking good shit to say, because this is like training for the mind.
It's exactly it. It's the whole purpose of the show. All right, Jon Andersen on behalf of Keith Bilous, Jon Andersen, producer Jimmy, Rick Clody, Jack Dugan, Amy Reinhardt, the whole gang, Melissa behind the scenes. We're going to get out of here. We're back here tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Apple, Spotify. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Johnny, appreciate you, brother.
Have a good little baby.
All right, see you guys later, guys. Jimmy, we're getting out of here.